Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber show. On today's show, we're going to do a mock draft with a big time trade. This will be a first mock draft, so don't freak out. Okay, this is just a mock draft with a trade. I think we might do one, maybe two more in the future, and that should be fun. And we got our man here. He's the man behind the wheel for this. This is our boy BH. Thanks for being here, BH. We appreciate you.
Hey man, thanks. Yeah, let's I think we'll do one or two more mock drafts. Probably do one like right before the draft, like our final killer Commanders mock draft. But this one was I think most people expect and most people want to get a franchise style quarterback at 2 and then fill out from there. That seems to be the main thing. But there's a lot of people saying, hey, there's a lot of value at number 2, and there's teams that are desperate for quarterback. And we've seen it in the past. You know, their teams give up a ton to move up and to get. I mean, especially when you're up in that 1, 2, 3 range, there's quite a premium and you can really get a lot out. So the theory is, man, you could just add 3 more killer, picks and really build out your roster and then get a quarterback maybe in the second round. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not my line of thinking.
Right.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
But we're just testing the waters here. Just to start it out. So seems fun to me. So
yeah, let's just do it. So what we'll do, I was trying to put a trade together. Now I am using the Pro Football Focus, their mock draft simulator, which is really good, but it's not perfect. Their rankings are a little different, and sometimes it's hard to get who you want, but these are all players everybody knows, and we'll see. So what we did was they went from 13, they got the number 2 pick. And then we got there. Here we go. We got number 13. We switched first rounders, but we got their second, their third, and their fourth, and next year's first.
Right.
In the real world, could we get that much? I don't know. Maybe the second, third, and next year's first. But this is pretty close because we've seen drafts when teams want to come up, and like I said earlier, you can extract a lot of capital from them guys. So, having said that, we're on the clock. Now we go from 2 to 13, and then we make everybody happy, and we get Alumiyawa Fashanu. There he is. He slipped a little bit. He was like a top 6 or 7 player in this draft. I don't know if his physicals didn't check out or, people just started worrying. His hands are small. This is the kind of stupid stuff you'll see in drafts. He does have smallish hands, and hand play for an offensive lineman is important. But this guy's got a giant wingspan. He's got great soft feet. He's huge. To me, he's a plug and play left tackle. So for people who really are proponents of let's trade that number 2 pick and get a lot of killer talent, they're going to be very happy with this guy.
Awesome. Yeah, I looked into him. He looks good. Not a bad pick, especially at like you said, plug and play, ready to go.
Yep. So from there, we go to Chris Braswell from Alabama.
Nice pick.
Yeah. And I really do. I looked at in all my mock drafts, but looking at the edge defenders, and I know we did get we got Dorrance Armstrong, and we did get Dante Fowler. And behind them, we've got just, kind of a bunch of guys. I know we got KJ Henry and Andre Jones from last year. FA's come back, and we got Clellan Ferrell. But honestly, we don't have a guy that's really a twitchy, come off the edge kind of guy. I mean, he looks real good to me.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I looked at all these guys that you have on here. I went and checked them out. They're all in everybody's top 100, so clearly a guy we could use.
Yeah, and both these guys, what I like is Fashanu and Braswell. I mean, they play in top-notch conferences and have, they play against really good guys all the time,
Yeah.
and they have great success. So yeah, so that's good. I think we really need that, despite having a bunch of got a bunch of edge defenders out there, but no one who's really, like I said, twitched up and can really come off the edge and put pressure. So he would help. So now moving on. Now this is sort of the linchpin of the whole theory. This, because if you get here and there's no quarterback, yikes. Now you're looking further down the road. But anyway, this is a guy who's pretty darn good. Michael Penix Jr. He's got a rocket arm.
He's a lefty, right?
He's the lefty. Yeah. He loves to throw deep. He's got some issues in mid-range throws. To me, he'd be perfect for the Raiders, for that, that go deep kind of philosophy. But he's really good. He's a smart guy. I think his only knocks would be his age. I think he's pretty old, 25, I think, 24, 25. So he's a little on the older side. And he does have a pretty good injury history.
Yeah.
But pretty bad, actually. Yeah. But as a quarterback, he's fun to watch. He loves to chuck the rock. And as far as any quarterback, no quarterback has every throw in the bag, and they all come into the pros and they learn how to set their feet and they learn how to read defenses, and they don't have to go to school now. So they got tons of time to throw and get better. So Michael Penix, I think, is he's probably the sixth best quarterback in this draft, fifth or sixth. So he's pretty good. So there you go. We got our quarterback.
Yeah, I think his age lends itself to being well versed in football. So he's ready to go. He's not like a 21-year-old. He's been there for a while. So there. I like him. He played for UW. So I'm from Seattle.
Yeah. Yep, and tons of highlights too, man. He really put it up. So, well, now we, here's an interesting thing with this draft that we put together is I know we did a lot of good defensive players in the offseason. So, and I didn't want to go all offense, but I thought if we're going to get a quarterback, we need a left tackle and we need a tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, we need someone who can threaten from the tight end position. So there we go. Jatavian Sanders from Texas, really good pass catcher. Not your traditional inline style tight end. Kind of a guy that you really want to get out in space and everything. But he's super talented and great hands. And I mean, he'd be an awesome threat out there.
Awesome. A couple of questions. Our tight end room is looking, if you got one more guy here, it's looking kind of full. So I would say it's Zach Ertz, John Bates. We don't have Curtis Hodges anymore, right? He's gone. What about Amari Cooper?
Yeah. Oh no, Amari. What's his name? Oh, I forget his name. Not Cooper. I know who you're talking about. I think some of those guys
did okay.
He did until he got hurt.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's basically Armani Rogers.
Yeah, Armani Rogers.
Yeah, and Cole Turner. So we have five. Yep, we'd have five guys in there, and but the thing is, even during camp, we probably have some undrafted free agent tight ends, so it'd be pretty packed. But I think Jatavian would definitely be right there in the top three, and would suit up every week.
Nice.
I still think Ertz would get the start, obviously, and Sanders would have to grow, and we'd probably put him in there in some two tight end situations and force people to cover him or Ertz and see what he does. But yeah, he's definitely a guy who can be he could take over. He's a guy that I think could take over for Zach Ertz next year.
Nice. And so my real question was just like, what do we think about Armani Rogers? He had such a future ahead of him. And what was it, an Achilles?
Yeah.
So Do you think there's a chance that he could still be something if he can come back from that?
I think him and Turner could, but this is a new regime. And they're not
Right.
top tier talent. And Armani coming off that kind of Achilles injury, I don't know if they'd even keep him around. Only because it's a new regime. They're looking at their own people now, you know. So who knows? They might get a chance in camp, and they'll have a chance to
Right.
fight. But yeah, I would not. I wouldn't even. I mean, honestly, if I'm being very honest, even John Bates. Let's see who all shows up. It's a new regime, and they're picking their people for their schemes and what they want. So
Yeah.
there's no loyalty. We're lucky we're still here, dude. So
I hear you, dog, but it's looking bright. It really is here coming up. We locked in when we did, man, and we could see it somehow. We had the vision, and we thought
Yep.
the Commanders could do something. And I feel like I'm going to get myself up. I'm going to get myself hopeful. I'm going to look
Yeah.
to a great season, great. And if I get let down in the future, fine, fuck it. That's something that we're all used to it. But
Sure.
if you get your hope up and then they do good, well, there's a payoff there, and it'll make all of us feel really good. So part of that is doing these mock drafts and looking at the people that we can get. And this Kieran Amagaji. I looked at his stuff.
Yeah.
Coming up next. He looked really good.
Yeah.
He's a little raw, but he's big.
Yep.
He's got good footwork and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, he really does. I mean, he's one of those guys where they, where he played at Yale, so the competition is not that great, and he actually is coming off of an injury. He tore a quad, which he should probably be healed by now, but he didn't have to get to do any combine or pro day stuff. But he's one of those guys that he's built for the position.
mm-hmm.
So you got to work. I mean, it's just hard to find guys that tall with those arms that are that long and can move soft, and really move side to side and not have any problems. So he would definitely be someone who would be a project. I don't even think he would. I would say he would hardly see the field, to be honest with you. And I would even say, for purposes of this, we're taking him in this draft at 67. He could probably even be there at 78. Because he's going to drop. Yeah, he's going to drop a little because of the rawness and coming off an injury, and you got to be. We're lucky our team could be patient to sit a guy for a whole year because we have a new regime. A lot of teams don't have that. They have spots to fill. They've got holes, and they can't take a chance on a guy like that. So we're in a good position.
Yep. Like the guy.
Yep.
Good pick.
I do too. Yep. So now we go to a real interesting cat.
Yeah.
Johnny Wilson from Florida State.
Yep.
Got 6'6", 230 something.
Yeah, big body.
Yeah, I really wanted to get someone who was, the opposite of Terry and Jahan,
Yep. I think I listened to John Keim not too long ago. I think he was talking to Jay Gruden, and I think Gruden brought this guy's name up.
Yep.
So,
yep. Yeah, he really does. And he can play out in the Z, out on the right side. He can play on the edge out there if you want to, and then bring Jahan in and let Jahan play slot. But he can also work. He works out of the slot. So he does both of them pretty well. He's close to being a tight end, but, and so the thing with him is getting separation. He's plenty quick, but he's quick for a guy his size. So, he's just one of those guys that, he fights for balls and he bodies guys out big time. And he does run his routes pretty nicely. He does know how to run guys off and body up against them. And so, and for that kind of size, that height and everything, he doesn't look clumsy or anything. So he's another guy that, I mean, I've got him here at 77. He could go at 100. in a real draft. He might just be one of those guys where people say, "Hey, I like this guy, but I ain't got time to develop him."
Right.
I need guys that I can get going right away. So anyway, I think Johnny Wilson's good, and I think that for me, I think I don't want, nothing against Curtis Samuel, but I don't want 3'5'11", 195-pound receivers.
Dude.
We want someone to break that up a little bit.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that totally. So,
Yep.
all right. So we got his buddy coming in too, our first corner.
Yeah, we were down in Florida, so we thought, well, let's grab two guys. What the hell? So here we are with Renardo Green because we did need a corner.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, and I kind of went back and forth with that, like at pick 44 with Jatavian Sanders, but I thought, if we're, when you're bringing in a quarterback and he's young, you got to get linemen and weapons for him. I think it's really important, and I think our defensive coordinators and their philosophy are going to create a scheme, even with our struggling corner group, that they're going to make them a little more successful, I think Renardo Green read a little bit and watched a little bit of him. He does like to play man and press, so he does pretty good. He's not afraid to man up. He's not a huge guy, and he's not actually physically imposing, but he's not afraid to do press man or off man, which is what we need. We need guys who can come up and do that.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Good pick.
Yep. So we have to get a cornerback somewhere. I really debated which way to go. And I really debated this next pick. And that's Xavier Thomas from Clemson, he's a good defensive end. Now, he's not like our first defensive end. He's not super twitchy and quick. But he's a really solid guy. He gets after it. He's got a lot of experience. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like our defensive end room is pretty shallow, despite a bunch of names there. I really have to say, I think Dante Fowler's good, but he's a pass rush specialist. He's sort of at the end of his career. I would not think, if everything goes right, that Dante Fowler would be here next year, and the rest, Clellan Ferrell, KJ Henry, who could actually be very good. I think those guys could do really well, but man, after Dorrance Armstrong, I just see a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I jumped at an edge defender, because I feel like we needed two in this draft. And maybe because we did this style of draft where we got a bunch of picks, I'm afforded a chance to go, let's just get another guy. Now in a standard draft, I might not be able to do that, but he's really good. He's been around. He's actually a teammate. He played with KJ Henry at Clemson. So anyway, you get a teammate thing there. So anyway, I thought at this point in the draft, I thought that would be a good way to go.
Well, the team's philosophy really is to plug where you can, but build the team through the draft.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
And that's smart. And getting these guys that might be a year away from where they're supposed to be. We've already got the placeholders.
Yep.
Got the people that we need to hold us for this year. And then these guys learn over the year. And then next year, these guys will be plugged into where they're actually really supposed to be. And I'm excited about that. That's very smart coaching, front office work, all that kind of stuff. So good stuff. So who's our next boy here?
Okay, this is an interesting guy, man, who I like a lot. He's very popular. Cooper Beebe from Kansas State, a big guard. I think they said he was the Big 12 offensive lineman of the year these last 2 years. Man, everywhere I read, everyone loves him. He comes off as a plug and play kind of a guy. He can just go right in and play. I think he could probably play both guard positions. And so I think he played left guard in college.
Which
and
is
now
good.
I know, we need someone. I mean, I know we got our boy from KC, our free agent.
Allegretti.
Yep. But Cooper Beebe is the kind of guy who could come in and take that position. And we need it. We had left guard. I mean, left tackle was, and people think left tackle was bad last year. Left guard was a disaster,
Yeah.
which may even be why our left tackle play was so awful. I mean, it's hard when you're playing next to someone who's struggling. Let's be honest.
Right.
The
other thing that we have too going in our favor in that same vein is if you come down the line a little bit more, we got Tyler Badass or whatever his name is.
Yep.
Dallas. Now that is a guy who is going to be an anchor on the front line, and it's going to cinch up all those other positions. And I'm sure Sam Cosme is relieved that we got that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's probably tired of playing with Larson, tired of playing with Gates. You know what I mean? So I think that Biadasz guy is somebody who's going to solidify that front line and tie it all together. And having this Cooper Beebe guy, if he's plug and play, that'd be great.
Yep.
Who else? Chris Paul, and we still got Sadiq.
Sadiq's gone, okay. But Chris Paul's there. And okay. Chris, Paul could have a second year revelation maybe, but man, he struggled.
Maybe. Yeah, he did.
He struggled a lot, man. He
Again, had some, on a line with no leadership.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And he was right next to our centers who both of them had problem in pass protection. And so, yeah, if they can't handle the looping defensive ends and the blitzes, how's a rookie supposed to? So,
exactly.
Yeah. Cooper Beebe, man, really good. One of the better guards in this entire draft. He's a big dude too. So
awesome.
He's good. Now, here we go. Now, this is a luxury pick that you get when you get a bunch of extra picks, when you trade. But this is a really good football player. Will Shipley from Clemson. He's just a good all-round back. He can play early downs. He's not he's not a line beater. He's not going to run people over. I look at Will Shipley as sort of the guy who takes over for Austin Ekeler next year.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good. He can catch the ball out of the backfield really good. He can give you, he's just a really great inspirational young player. I like him a lot. So like I say, in this draft, he's, it's kind of a luxury pick to go with halfback, but hey, here we are. That's what happens when you get extra picks. So I like him a whole bunch.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next.
Here we are. So now here we are here towards the end of the draft. And, some of these guys end up being, this is sort of where you're looking at your probably special, obviously special teams and backups. Mm-hmm. You're almost looking at them for that. And so we get, JD Bertrand, who's a good middle linebacker. He's not super physical, pretty good in coverage. He'll probably always be a backup and a special team kind of guy, but he has that potential to move up. But he'd be a good guy to put behind Bobby Wagner and learn. He played middle linebacker in college, so it's one of those sort of a dart throw.
Okay. Yeah.
Get him out there, get someone in the mix. Our linebacker depth is a little bit better this year. So anyway, JD Bertrand, I think he'd be fine. Nothing special, but that's when you get towards the ends of these drafts, that's kind of what you're getting. So
yeah, I'm good with it. For this year, we got a great linebacker core, better than we've had in quite a long time. So I'm happy with it. I don't know what you do next year, but for this year, I'm happy with what's going on in that area. So
yeah, man. Yeah, with Luvu and Jamin, Bobby Wagner. Yeah, it's great. So then we can let and if he may end up on the practice squad. You never know. But someone to develop. So last but not least, this guy's a lot of fun to watch. Trey Taylor. He may end up our 7th round pick in our regular drafts. I'm hard pressed to find someone else I like more in the 7th round than this guy, because he'll be a special teams demon. He does everything really well. I mean, to see him back here, maybe he's not as athletic as other guys, and Air Force doesn't play top-notch competition. So I think those are some dings against him. But, man, the guy rushes the quarterback like crazy. He comes up on the line and stuffs running backs. They drop him back. He covers. He does well. He matches up well with tight ends. He just does. He's maybe not great at everything, but he's one of my favorite players in this draft, man. He seems to do everything really, really well.
Nice. Yeah, we had some safety issues last year. I mean, it couldn't be any worse than some of the things that I saw on them broken plays and that we got last year from some of our guys not paying attention. And to go back to like the linebacker situation, it's good to have a guy like Bobby Wagner in there with the green dot. You know, we've had people with the green dot that just weren't prepared to do that. They can't tie it all together. So with Bobby in there with the green dot, maybe guys like Trey Taylor and Bertrand and some of these other guys can do a lot better than they would have under the situation that we had before, which was haphazard and crap. So
yeah, and then even though the guy's making the calls, because they're inconsistent, you're not fully confident in them.
Yeah, no.
And that's not a good thing. I think when Bobby Wagner makes the call, you buy in. You're like, okay. And I think the same thing with what's his name, Tyler Badish.
Yes,
the center. When he's making those line calls, you do what he says.
Right. He knows how to call out the defenses. He knows what to look for. He knows how to tell everybody on the line that you couldn't trust Larson to do that. You couldn't trust Gates to do that. I felt no confidence in any of them guys. So really this from the front office to the coaches to how we did so far in free agency, if all of those things are indications of what this team is currently doing, I see nothing but good things coming up in the draft. So,
yeah, without a doubt.
Great job, by the way, BH, on this. There was a lot of fun for me to look at this. I've seen 100 of them. They're all different. I really like your look at it and the reasons why you picked the people you picked, and look forward to you doing more of this in the future. It's fun.
Yeah. We'll try and get in a couple more before the real draft. I've been working on my final real, number one. I want to get some input from you on a few of these players, and we'll do our final one. But this was fun. And for anyone out there, go into the comment section, tell us what you think. Now, remember, we are kind of limited by, we're using that mock draft simulator from PFF. I can't always get who I want, but hey, if there's players you like, let us know. If there's positions you disagree with, or you think we're going too early on, or there's players you think, oh man, that guy, he won't be there. Well, tell us who you like, let us know.
Yeah. So, I'm sure there's no shortage of diverse input coming from the commentary. Believe me.
No doubt.
Everybody's got their own thoughts on everything. So we appreciate it. So good job, BH. That was a lot of fun.
It was. All right, man. We'll do another one next week. So everybody stay tuned. And man, this is exciting time, Scrub.
Sure is, man. Looking forward to it. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
All right.